Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Universal Monsters Creature Double Feature Ultimate Action Figure 2-pack with Leonardo as the Hunchback of Notre Dame and Raphael as the Wolfman. These are black and white versions, and this is a first exclusive at Walmart, and then I think available everywhere later. I got this from the Walmart app, and it arrived today. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, Nickelodeon, Ninja Turtles, and Universal Monsters, Leonardo as the Hunchback, Raphael as a Wolfman, Creature Double Feature. Here's the front of the box. Here's the top of the box. Here's one side with Leonardo. Here's the other side with Raphael. Here's the back of the box, kind of like an old school movie poster. At the bottom, there is the barcode, in case that helps anybody. This is one of NECA's Ultimate figures. Here's the Velcro as I open it up. Here are the two figures with all their accessories laid out. And here's an image of those same figures. So with no further ado, let's open it up. Alright, now that these figures out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. They come with a ton of really cool stuff. We have Leonardo as the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Raphael as the Wolfman. Not only that, but these are the black and white variants. This is a Walmart exclusive, but I don't think it's going to be a Walmart exclusive forever. I think it's a Walmart at first exclusive, and then you'll be able to order it at other places. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the figures, we'll check out their accessories, height, and articulation, and we'll compare them with a bunch of other action figures. Let's go and start off with Leonardo, one of the earlier figures in the Ninja Turtle and Universal Monster crossover line. So here's Leonardo as the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but if you look at the accessories, it kind of makes me think more Igor, Dr. Frankenstein's assistant. He comes with 6 alternate hands, totaling 8 interchangeable hands, 2 swords, a bone, 2 shovels, a skull, 2 flame accessories for the swords, and then this little jar with a brain in it. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So like I said, this is Leonardo as the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but I get big time Igor vibes off of him. So let's take a look. So, start with this face here. Looks pretty good. Looks kind of dumb. Teeth exposed. He's got his bandana sort of hanging off the side. Now it's black and white. You can barely tell. It's across his face as well. Big giant eyebrows. He just has this very dumb sort of look to him. I think that's the point. His shell has a lock on it. I believe it actually opens up. Yep, and you can store a bunch of stuff inside. A little spider in there. You can transport his accessories, etc. It does have a place to put both of the swords into the shell. Sculpt and detail is good. When it's black and white, you can really sort of see the sculpt and detail and appreciate it quite a bit. It's got texture on his shirt. More bugs. Actual chain hanging off of his ankle. It's like he's a shackle there. He's got the little knee pads, elbow pads, signature for the turtles. Tattered up, worn clothing. Looks pretty good. Like I said, big time Igor vibes. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Pretty well done. Does throw me off, that bandana, you can sort of barely tell it's there with this paint scheme. And here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. So let's check out his accessories. Starting off with his hands. He has a total of 8 hands, 4 left hands, and 4 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And here's his second pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands for his swords. Then, his next pair of hands. This is a pair of pointing hands. And now, his last pair of hands. This is a pair of open hands. They would look good relaxed at his sides. Here are the rest of his traditional accessories, both the black and white versions, next to the color versions. Here are his swords. Of course, he has 2 of them. Has a very large handle, similar to the movie version. A little spike ball here. Blade. Here's Leonardo, holding those blades. He also comes with these little flame tips for his swords, which is a pretty cool effect. Kind of reminds me of torches. You can take the flame effects that came with the original version, which are obviously in color, and it makes a pretty cool effect on the black and white figure. And here he is, holstering those swords into his shell. Kind of got a open it up to guide him into the second hole there. Here are his shovels. He has 2 of them. I guess they're for grave digging. I guess he's called the Hunchback. It's not the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but it is Igor. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense in my head. First shovel here has a flat top, very worn, chipped away. Other one here, more curved top, also pretty chipped and heavily used. Here he is, holding one of the shovels. Looks like he's about to do some gardening. And here, holding the other one. Now let's take a look at his bone and skull. I'm sure the skull is the same from their Predator line. Yep, it's got the little hole there to peg onto the trophy wall. And then we just have a regular looking bone, maybe a femur. Here's Leonardo, holding both the bone and skull. And here's his last accessory, and probably the coolest one. It has this device, a little jar with a brain inside, all kind of tubes and stuff going inside of there. And now you can actually open it up. You see the brain, nice texturing, and the brain itself is pegged in there and actually comes off. So very cool, very useful accessory. You can have a brain, you can have a brain jar, or you can have a jar for something else in your action figure collection. And inside of his shell, there's actually a peg for both the skull and the brain jar. Pretty cool, stow them away. Now I wanted to check out the differences and similarities between the black and white version and the original color release. And besides the obvious paint differences, it's 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation, so let's take a look. Starting with their heads, you can see the detail a lot more in this guy, the mask, the eyebrows. I mean, you can definitely see the eyebrows on him. Teeth sticking out, kind of warts, nasty stuff. Clothes, tattered. It does look really good, that painted version of that shell. Pants, knee pads, little shackle. Black and white one's cool. I definitely prefer the color versions. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 6.25 inches tall, which could translate to just under 16 centimeters. He's actually hunched over so much the shell's higher, about 6.5 inches tall. And for his articulation. So, as you've seen before, the shell just open and shut. His head can rotate from side to side, look up and down a little bit, turn from side to side. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out a little bit less than 90 degrees. Up, down, around. Kind of limited there. Looks like single jointed elbow. Goes in a little bit less than 90 degrees with rotation. As a wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged. Torso's one solid piece. He's got probably a ball joint there, but you can really just move it around the tiniest little bit. Legs, they go out about this far. Ball joints, they can rotate independently of the ball. They can go out about that far. Forward, not very much. Single jointed knee barely goes back at all with the rotation. And then the ankles, forward and back, tilt and a rock. Now to check them out with my other Leonardo figures. Here are the 2 different Leonardo as Hunchback figures, black and white and regular. Here he is, next to Leonardo as a creature from the Black Lagoon, also from the Ninja Turtle Universal Monster crossover line. And here he is, next to the movie version of Leonardo, then with NECA's animated Leonardo in disguise, and now with a DC Direct Leonardo from Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated film, and finally, next to a Playmates, Ninja Turtles, and Stranger Things crossover Leonardo. Here are all of the different Leonardo figures I have in my collection. So now let's take a look at Raphael as the Wolfman. He comes with 4 alternate hands, totaling 6 interchangeable hands, 2 heads, a bear trap, and then 2 sides. So let's take a look at him. As you can see, it's kind of a hybrid between a turtle and a man and a wolf. Big fangs, fur on top of his reptilian type skin. You can see he's got bandana going out the back. That part is articulated. Shell here has sort of ripped clothing on top of it, and it looks like it has fur on the shell. True Wolfman. Looks like single jointed elbow. Think single jointed knees. Sharp toenails. You can see his button-up shirt ripped to shreds. Big rip out of the side here. A close look at his face and head sculpt. Looks pretty good. Pretty unique, sort of hybrid between 3 different type of creatures. Here's Raphael, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. And now for his accessories. Starting off with his hands, he has a total of 6 hands, 3 right hands, and 3 left hands. Here he is, with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And then his second pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands. Here's his final pair of hands. This is a pair of open hands. They would look good relaxed at his sides. They would also look good clawing or shredding somebody. Now let's look at his heads. He has 2 of them. One with his mouth open, kind of growling, and the other one a little more docile. Here's a look at his first head. This one is angry, sort of growling, mouth halfway open, one eye halfway shut. And here's his second head. This one also looks a little bit angry, but not nearly as much as the other head. And here are the rest of his accessories, both the black and white and color versions. Now let's look at his size. Of course, they're both black and white. We're going to check a regular size, but this one is like the cane that he held in the original Wolfman movie. And this one here has bone on the end. Nice little detail there. Here's Raphael holding those sais. And then here, holstering those sais. Here's his final accessory. This is a bear trap. I could put this to a lot of use. Seems like a pretty cool accessory. Has actual chain coming off the side. Bear trap can actually open up and sort of function. Step here, bam, it's going to shut and mess you up. Now to check the differences between the black and white version and the color version of Raphael, and it's 100% the same figure. So let's take a look. Start with the head. Now the fur looks totally different when it's colored brown versus black and white. Bandana as well. You can see the detailing a little better on this guy. The fur sticking out of the rip parts on his shirt. Here it's just black and really dark gray. It's very weird having fur all over the turtle shell. You can see the shirt is green, just like in the original movie. Has the same sort of pieces outside of his shell. Tattered up pants. Fur all over him. Toenails. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing right at 7 inches tall, which can translate to just under 18 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, well, we have that bandana, and you can move back of it different places. Head can rotate side to side, up and down a pretty good amount. Can tilt his head a little bit from side to side. He does have articulation both at the top of the neck and the bottom of the neck, increase the range of motion. Shoulders, a ball joint, goes out just about 90 degrees, up, down, around. And it does look like he has double jointed elbows. I guess I was wrong before. They go up just about 90 degrees with rotation. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged. His torso is one solid piece. He's got a waist swivel, rotate around. The shell is going to obstruct a lot of that. Forward and back, tiny bit. Legs, almost complete as splits. Ball joints can rotate independently into the ball, and then go forward about that far, out about that much. It is double jointed knees, but they only go back about 90 degrees. Once again with rotation. He's got another sort of joint here because it's Wolfman. Looks like it just rotates though. And then the ankle, forward, back, tilt, rock, and toe articulation. And now let's check them out next to the other Raphael figures I have. Here's the black and white and color version of Raphael's the Wolfman. Here he is next to Raphael as Frankenstein's monster, also from the Universal Monster Ninja Turtle crossover line. And here, next to the movie version of Raphael. Then, next to the movie version of Raphael in disguise. And now, next to NECA's animated version of Raphael in disguise. And here, next to the DC Direct Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated movie figure. And finally, next to the Playmates Stranger Things crossover with Ninja Turtles Raphael. Here are all the different Raphael figures I have in my collection. Here he is, next to NECA's Wolfman figure. Here's the black and white Raphael as Wolfman, next to NECA's black and white Wolfman. And here he is, next to all 3 versions of NECA's Wolfman. Here's a look at both Leonardo as the Hunchback and Raphael as the Wolfman. Weapons drawn, ready to go. Now let's check them out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Universal Monsters figures. Here's a look at the entire NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Universal Monsters line. Can't wait to see what's next. And here's the black and white figures next to NECA's black and white Universal monster figures. Now let's check them out next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how they fit in both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix them with. Since they're NECA figures, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check them out with some of their NECA brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from NECA Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys. Here they are, next to a 5-outer energy shot, and here they are, next to some McFarlane toys, and DC Direct figures. Then, next to both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures, and now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends, and finally, next to some SH figure arts and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, these are some really cool action figures, but I much prefer the color versions to the black and white versions. The black and white ones are kind of an homage to the old school black and white Universal monster movies, but the Turtles were never in those movies, so it seems kind of pointless, but at the same time, I can see the appeal if you want to have a black and white collection of these horror icons and the crossover with the Turtles, etc. Their accessories are magnificent, especially Hunchbacks. Their articulation's good, but a little bit limited in the elbows and the knees, because mainly the knee pads and elbow pads, but you don't really need them to be super articulated, although Wolfman probably needs a little bit more articulation than Hunchback, and he actually has it. Now if I were to rate these figures, let me just tell you my thoughts on the color ones. So, Hunchback there, these figures are just unnecessary, but they're so damn cool. I want to give the Hunchback an 8, and Wolfman a 7.5, and that's the color versions. So these black and white ones, probably give the Hunchback a 7, and Wolfman 6.5. They're really nice figures, really nice sculpt, really nice accessories, really nice paint job, really cool line. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.